Hi everyone, it's Joshua here. I just wanted to make this video today to share some thoughts that I've been having recently in my life about some changes that I've been going through. Specifically, this video is about my experience with loss and grief, losing loved ones. Death isn't something that people like to talk about very much. It can often be this really uncomfortable topic, and if anyone ever brings it up, don't talk about it at the dinner table or with strangers, or I used to hear that they said that there was 3 topics don't talk about with strangers. It was politics, religion, and sex, I think. Nobody ever said death was included in there, but maybe that goes under religion. I don't know, but it was just, you know what I'm talking about. It's just one of those taboo things, but it's why can't we talk about death? Because let me get a better angle here. Okay. Why can't we talk about death? It's something we all go through, right? It's we're in denial about this topic, actually. Everybody goes through their whole life thinking, oh yeah, I know, I'm sure I'll die someday. Maybe I've even seen some people I've known die before, but, well, that'll happen later. I'll worry about that when I get older. And they go through their whole life trying to do as much as possible to get that dream job and the relationship that they always wanted. Make lots of money, have children, get it. And no matter what they do, they just keep going. And they just keep trying to put off the inevitable. And then maybe one day it comes, right? Well, why am I talking about this? The first experience I remember with death was one of my very early memories, actually. As a young child, I don't know, maybe I was 3 years old. My parents sat me and my sister down at the table. I remember the bright light overhead. It was at night. And they told us our cat had died. He'd been hit by a car. I didn't really understand at that time really what that meant, but they told me I was never going to see my cat again. That he was gone. Oh, and I cried so much. I thought, how could this happen? Why isn't the cat going to be here with us? And I just want to really appreciate my parents for a minute, because they did the best that they could in that conversation with us. And really, okay, I guess I gotta go out of here. Okay, so I had crossed out of bounds and the security guard started to yell at me and told me I had to get out, so went somewhere else. Maybe I'm out of bounds again, I don't know. We'll see if anyone comes and talks to me this time. So, get back into what I was talking about. Just really grateful that my parents could sit down with me and explain to that situation about my cat the best way that they could, but it just was so hard. And my whole life, every time someone left me, it just hurt so much. Cats, dogs, never really knew how to deal with this. It was like I was just storing it all up bit by bit in my body. I would cry a little bit, but I guess there'd be something else holding on. And a really big moment that changed my life was when my mom died in my early 20s, and I was just devastated. She got real sick and ended up in the hospital with a respirator. She had chosen to do that without consulting my dad first, and I know he felt really sad and maybe, I don't know, betrayed even that she went to go do that because she couldn't talk to us anymore. So none of us knew that the last conversations we had with her where she would respond were gonna be the last conversations. I mean, I knew she was sick, and honestly I couldn't see her getting better. The disease had taken over her body, and she could barely move, barely breathe. And at that point I was just wishing for her to be free of the pain that she was in. She was suffering so much. I fell into a pretty bad depression after that, and lasted for a long time, years, really. And I did get better eventually, and sort of, I mean, better enough, I guess, to function and have a job and a relationship, but eventually the relationship fell apart, pushed her away actually, by becoming so miserable. I had this thing about being abandoned, and I guess I wanted to, I was afraid of being abandoned. I basically made it so impossible for her to be with me, just to see if she would prove me wrong. But, no fault to her, but yeah, she did leave me because it was time to go. And that was actually, it was really great. It helped me so much, and it took a few months to kind of get back up my feet after that happened. And then the death was coming around the corner again. Met my cousin and had this incredible experience with him. Really intense 1 year living together out in Carson City, Nevada. And he died too. And this was when, it really took its toll on me, because I'd already lost my mom, and, really I was struggling to forgive myself that I wasn't good enough, actually. That somehow it was my fault that she had died. That if only I had been a better son, then maybe my mom would still be here. And so I vowed that, I would just do the best that I could so that wouldn't have to lose somebody again. I mean, gosh, I was living my life as if I could stop people from dying, and couldn't stop my cousin. He got sick, and he died too. And I was just so upset, and all of these losses really hit me hard, and I needed the tools to do something about this. I kind of got tired of, going through life like this, and just always feeling like I was never good enough, and watching people die and thinking, well, what if, if I don't take care of myself, I'm just going to go crazy, or I'm going to end up dead like them sooner rather than later. And I started to learn about meditation finally. And I had kind of practiced it a little bit previously, but never very seriously, and took a yoga training course, a Kundalini yoga teacher training in Reno. And this really started to give me the awareness I needed to at least begin to see what was going on. And by the time it finished, I was going to have to go with this weird fight. I actually had been fighting for months. After my uncle died, he had written a will, he wanted to give me money, and his ex-wife sued me. It was this nasty petition saying that I had, claiming that I had, the petition said that I had abused him, okay? Claiming that I was guilty of elder abuse and fraud and undue influence, and that for this reason the will was invalid and none of that money should go to me. And this became like my whole life. It consumed me for months and months and months. I was doing the yoga training along with it, but gosh, it was just so stressful. So fucking awful. I mean, it's hard to get anything done. Even with these skills to practice yoga and meditation, I just couldn't have peace because I was so fixated on this outcome of winning a bunch of money that I believed was rightfully mine. I mean, he wrote the will. I didn't ask him. Didn't ask him to write that will for me. And it was just this big mess. So this is where I'm getting to now. I did get some money. Not all of it. We settled out of a court mediation and took that money and went to Thailand and just continued on with this, unhealed trauma after trauma after trauma from my past, and got into another relationship. And this one was also built on a kind of unsolid foundation. It was pretty much destined to fail from the beginning, I suppose. I couldn't see it. Thought I was doing the right thing. Spent all my money on building a house for my girlfriend. Why not buy a home for myself? It's like I almost didn't really care. I didn't deserve the money. I had so much more money than any time before in my life, and I was not happy at all. It was just insane. I felt like I didn't deserve it, actually. Still was carrying this feeling that I wasn't good enough, and so why should I have all this money? So spent it on someone else, and went just through a period of addictions, playing video games and drinking, smoking cigarettes, and spent all that money. What do you know? Money was too big for my story, and had more rough times going to China, teaching English, having these super stressful job situations with these really crazy kids who, they're whatever, children, right? Children are a handful in the sense that they need a lot of love and attention. I really learned a lot through that experience. But I was just thinking God, what am I doing with my life? How did I end up here? Oh, yeah, by the way, I married that woman after I spent all my money and had to leave the country. It was the relationship was it was over already. And I married her. It was I was just so delusional at that time. So yeah, thinking, what am I doing here? How did I end up here in China? And met another woman, realized that marriage was not the right thing anymore, and went back to Thailand. Got a divorce. Back to China. Continued teaching. I had actually started this online course for making money through SEO and lead generation. I was really excited because I thought, this is my ticket. This is the way I get out of these jobs that I don't like. I'll make more money this way, and then I'll be fine. Then, okay, I'll make more money, then I'll be happy, then I'll be able to live life on my own terms the way that I want to. Got married in 2019. December, right around the time that this whole crazy COVID thing was happening. It was already starting to spread in Wuhan. Nobody knew what was really going on at that point, and I'd probably heard something about it, but didn't really think, oh, whatever, it's just another, it's gonna be over soon, not a big deal. Then the world just went crazy in 2020. It's funny, they call it COVID-19, but I don't know, 2020 was the real bad year for most of us, and fell into a very dark place and lost my job. Ended up getting another one, moving to a different city in China, and of course that one still wasn't good enough, and so I thought, okay, well, I'm unhappy with my job, but if I have a child, then maybe that'll just fix everything. I mean, like, I'd been talking about having children with my wife. It was something that we wanted to do, and that didn't work either. She had a miscarriage. Tried again a few months later. She had an ectopic pregnancy, and it's just hit me so hard. That was kind of like the final straw, I guess. Months of sadness and anger and frustration, fighting with my wife, and finally I said, what am I doing? Like, I can't go on like this anymore. How many times are you gonna keep making these choices and stressing yourself out and just, not living within your purpose? And I finally signed up for Absolutely Everything Pass. Kyle Cease is somebody I'd been following for years, who had kind of early on taught me about meditation about 10 years ago. Didn't really get any of it. I thought he was amazing, but none of it was. I was not ready. And I've been really going into it recently. Been meditating and writing and just sitting with myself and learning to love myself. And this brings me back around to what this video is all about, which is I've learned how to heal myself and let go of years and years and years of trauma through this practice. And it hasn't even taken that long, actually. Sure, I had been working on it here and there, but once I had really committed to meditating and saying, okay, I want to be free. I'm tired of the bullshit, tired of the fighting, tired of being angry, tired of feeling like I'm not good enough, like I'm unsupported, all these negative beliefs. Why was I always beating myself up like this? The more that I sat down with myself, the more that I found, wow, there's some crazy things going on in my mind, and it was a very, very dark place. And through this process of sitting and listening to myself, I began to see how everything I've done in life has just been this little scared, oh, okay, I can't be here either. Okay, well, everything happens for a reason, as they say, right? So they also say third time's a charm. I don't know if that's true or not, but here we are, continuing in a new location for the third time. Got a little bit of wind, so hope you guys can hear me okay still. Where was I? About the going through life like a scared child. I was tired of that, really, really tired. And so I started meditating every day, started doing this work, and things began to change. I noticed that meditation wasn't about trying to change my thoughts, but learning to accept them, learning to treat every little thought that came up and consider it like a scared child. Like, if I have a child and they're feeling afraid or upset or something, I'm not going to try and get over my child. My child needs to be loved and hugged and comforted. It's okay. It's okay to feel scared. And so that's what I've been doing. And oh, it's windy. Ah, it feels so good. Is this it? Is the wind gonna allow me to finish, or am I just being called to sit here quietly? I think so. I guess that's it. Meditation is really about bringing peace to where you're at. Not trying to change who you are, what you're feeling, and just accepting everything. Letting go of all the rules and the attachments. And it's through this process that I'm feeling happy again. Like, nothing's changed. I'm still living in Harbin. I still get kicked out of parks because there's so many rules here, and been having to do a COVID test every day, but like, okay, I'm here right now. If I need to be here, and I have my reasons still, then okay. There's so much to appreciate in life. It's all about perspective. And we don't always see how the things we're going through are important and help us. They're what we need, because our mind likes to assign things as being good or bad, right or wrong. But that's only because we're attached to a certain outcome. So if we let go of the attachment to the outcome, then good or bad, basically, they don't exist. These are just ideas. When you let go of good or bad, then the opportunity for freedom is available. It's available right now, actually. Like, you don't have to meditate for years in a cave or, go through lifetimes of karma. Like, this is available to anybody right now. And I want to offer that to you, that you can change your life today just by sitting down with yourself and closing your eyes and breathe, listen, feel, and accept where you are. Love yourself in this present moment and right now, because that's all there is. Nothing exists but now. And once you start to see that, like, the whole world will just open up to you.